Hello, it's Friday the 22nd of July and welcome to our weekly news roundup from the Christian Institute. First, there has been a new development this week in the campaign to remove the word insulting from Section 5 of the Public Order Act. Although the government has no current plans to change the law, Home Office Minister James Brokenshire has said that they will assess whether the law should be reworded. Mr Brokenshire said, "The government are committed to engaging with key partners across the criminal justice system, community groups and civil liberties groups to assess the benefits of removing insulting from Section 5 of the Public Order Act 1986. Liberty, Justice, the National Secular Society and the Christian Institute all favour the move, but the government claims that police are against changing the law, arguing that it will put vulnerable groups at risk of insult." Staying in Parliament, and a cross-party group of MPs have welcomed the Equality and Human Rights Commission's statement last week that courts should have done more to protect Christians affected by new equality laws. In an early day motion proposed by Gary Streeter, the MPs expressed their support for the Commission's decision to intervene in 4 legal cases involving discrimination against Christians with the European courts, including that of Christian Registrar Lillian Liddell. The Commission has also said that employers should do more to accommodate employees with religious beliefs, just like they do with disabled staff. The MP's motion said that the Commission's intervention marks an important development in relation to a better understanding of the role of faith in public life. ITV soap Emmerdale, which shocked viewers last month with a graphic assisted suicide storyline, is now taking a more realistic view on the subject, according to a medical commentator. Dr Peter Saunders, head of the Christian Medical Fellowship, said the BBC could take some lessons from ITV over the issue, given the recent accusation of the corporation being a cheerleader for assisted suicide. Emmerdale's plot showed paralysed Jackson Walsh being fed lethal drugs to help him commit suicide, and while the episode showing the final moments of his life had provoked criticism, the storyline has developed so that 2 characters involved with his suicide are now struggling to come to terms with their actions. Dr Saunders, writing on his blog, said the programme does appear now to be taking a more realistic view about the huge ramifications for the lives and relationships of those left behind after an assisted suicide. And a mother's application to end the life of her paralysed daughter is being heard by the Court of Protection in a case which could shift the law on euthanasia. It is significant because the daughter, who is in her early 50s, has a degree of consciousness, which means she can respond to touch and move an arm. Carers for the woman have also argued that she can raise a smile. The case centres on permission to withdraw food and water from the brain-damaged woman. So far, the courts have only allowed nutrition to be withdrawn from patients in a persistent vegetative state. The patient's family say that she is often in pain and would be better off dead. But their case is being opposed by the official solicitor and the NHS Trust caring for her. A new study has revealed that almost half of current medical students object to the late-term abortion of disabled babies. Abortions are allowed after 24 weeks if there is a substantial risk of the baby having a serious handicap, but this requirement has been interpreted to include even treatable conditions such as cleft palate. The Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists has voiced concern about the growing number of students opting out of training for terminations, saying that it could affect future abortion services. The survey of 733 medical students also found that nearly half believe they should be able to refuse to administer medical treatments that run against their ethical or religious beliefs. According to General Medical Council guidance, doctors are free to refuse to carry out treatments that run against their conscience, but they must refer patients to a willing colleague. A grandmother who complained to the council about its bin collection service was furious when she was sent a questionnaire asking if she was a lesbian. Richenda Legg contacted North Norfolk District Council to ask why her rubbish had not been collected and was shocked to receive a customer survey asking personal questions about her gender, ethnicity and religion. Mrs Legg said, "I thought the survey was going to be about the bin service and might even explain why my rubbish was not collected when it should have been. But I really saw red when I read the question about my sexual orientation." North Norfolk District Council said that no offence was intended and the equality monitoring questionnaire is completely optional. The council has now vowed to scrap the form. Finally, this week celebrated the anniversary of an impassioned letter written in 1796 by John Newton to his close friend William Wilberforce, encouraging him to stay in politics. Wilberforce had been campaigning for the abolition of the slave trade, mustering much support for his bill's final reading. His only concern was that 5 or 6 of his supporters had chosen to visit the opera on the night of the vote. This turned out to be crucial as the bill was defeated by just 4 votes. Wilberforce was devastated and walked out of Parliament utterly dejected. Shortly after, he wrote to his friend John Newton to say he was considering retiring from public life. John Newton's inspirational reply, which you can read in full on our website, persuaded Wilberforce not to leave Parliament, but to stay there in order to accomplish the will of God. 11 years later, in 1807, the slave trade was ended, with members of the House of Commons rising to salute William Wilberforce. Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.